Aloha kako, and welcome to the West Hawaii Association of Realtors 2020 County Council Candidate Interviews. My name is Kristen Moreland, and I am broker owner of Hikino Property Management. I chair the Government Affairs Committee for our association. Our committee extended the opportunity to participate in interviews to each candidate who filed. While our association does not endorse candidates, we believe it is important to inform our membership and the community at large. This is an opportunity for the candidates to answer questions related to real estate and real property rights as they pertain to the candidate's platform and policies. The interview will consist of introduction of the candidate, an opening statement of 1 minute from the candidate, and then we're going to have 6 questions. Each response will be limited to 2 minutes. Then we'll ask the candidate to summarize, and we will conclude. This interview will be conducted by Marissa Ashley from Action Team Realty. Marissa is a member of our Government Affairs Committee. Now let's meet the candidate. Holeka Goro Inaba is a candidate for County Council District 8. At this time, we welcome candidate Inaba to give a 1-minute opening statement. Candidate?
Aloha nui kako. I'm Holeka Goro Inaba. I'm running for Hawaii County Council District 8. And first of all, I want to mahalo the West Hawaii Association of Realtors for giving us this opportunity to share our mana'o and our plans for our county and specifically District 8 here. So a little bit about myself. I am a Kamehameha Schools Kapalama graduate. I later attended Chapman University in Orange, California, where I earned my degree in Communication Studies and Education Studies. I also continued my education there, earning a Master's of Science in Health and Strategic Communication. Since moving home, I've worked at Kupa'a Business Planners, as well as with the Kamehameha Schools and the Department of Education. So I'm really excited to be serving you folks in the near future. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo, candidate Inaba. And now let's get on with our questions. Marissa?
Thank you for being with us, Holeka. And the first question is about IECC, the International Energy Conservation Code, which was instituted with amendments last year by the County Council. An unintended consequence for residents of Hawaii is that the IECC and the Hawaii County Code combined impose unreasonable expense for homeowners for minor modifications to their homes. If elected, how would you go about modifying the code to correct the burden it places on Big Island property owners?
Okay, and to be upfront, for some of these that I don't have precise knowledge over, I would have to do more research, and I would like to review the code to see where and how it's affecting our local residents negatively and addressing those issues. For me, it's important that we not only be proactive to the needs of our community, but be responsive as well. So if this is an area of concern, I will look into it and I will get answers to provide the association and our community to address their concerns.
Thank you for that information. And the next question is about workforce housing. And everyone agrees that there's a need for more affordable housing on the Big Island. And workforce housing brings families closer to the jobs, alleviates traffic congestion, and promotes healthier families and communities. How would you develop and support workforce housing?
Obviously, we know housing is a big thing for us. And in the overall general picture of housing, I think we need to be open to allowing more quick build homes, making sure that these quick build homes are in line with our current county code and the general permitting process. But we can't assume that everyone who wants to build a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. That's not really realistic, especially with the cost of living today. So figuring out ways that we can still support our local unions, our construction unions in building and development, but also by providing our local residents other options to get their families into safe and reliable homes here in Hawaii County. And I support the further development of a low affordable housing here in Hawaii County, especially here on the Kona side, since the property value and the cost of living is so high.
Okay, thank you for the information on that. And on the next question is about the reopening. And Hawaii Island has been very successful in avoiding the COVID-19 virus. What do you identify as the 3 most important actions the council can take to support the safe reopening of the island's economy?
First of all, I think we as a county council and as the mayor's administration need to continue requiring face masks being worn in local businesses and supporting local businesses and providing sanitation stations for our residents and visitors who are here to prevent the spread of the virus. But more so in terms of long-term view, we need to really monitor and ensure the proper and prudent use of those CARES funds. With all of this money, we need to not just invest it in short-term solutions that are going to help us today, but realize how we can use these funds to create long-term jobs in agriculture and energy that will help us in the long term. So we know that our local residents are hurting, that they are in need of certain programs right now, but we also need to balance that with the long-term approach. And that's how we're going to create jobs that are separate and independent from tourism. Third, when it comes to these programs and these businesses and these nonprofits that the CARES funds are supporting, I think we as county council members need to do a better job of getting this information out to our residents. If our residents don't know, these funds are going to wait. So we need to make sure that our residents have our knowledge and the ability to access these resources and these programs so that they can help themselves and that these funds and these nonprofits are making a difference in our community. So that's where I kind of see the kuleana of our county council members in light of reopening our economy.
Thank you for that information. And we're going to switch to the topic of short-term vacation rentals, STVRs. And it's a 2-part question. And the first part of the question is, we're asking what your position on enforcement of the STVR ordinance is. And we're also asking, do you think the state of Hawaii should interfere with the Hawaii County's home rule and pass legislation to dictate STVR rules?
To answer the first part, my position on the enforcement, obviously we create these bills and these laws for order and for the benefit of the community. So I do support the enforcement of the ordinance. However, I realize in talking story with some of our current county council members how it might be difficult to enforce the ordinance. So in terms of how we're going to go about enforcing it, I think we need to be careful there, but I do support the enforcement of the ordinance in a short answer. And then as for the second part, do I think the state should interfere with the county's rules and the legislation that's been passed? No. Our county put in a lot of work and significant energy into creating this ordinance and walking through the process to make it real. So we can't have the state coming here and dictating what we should do on Hawaii County when we went through the process ourselves. So I think this is a county matter that the county should continue to hold within its jurisdiction.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts on that. And the next question is about taxation. And increasing taxes or creating new taxes are a short-term and may continue to drive people out of the state. What are some of your long-term plans to help generate new sources of revenue for the county that don't include taxes?
I think a really exciting opportunity for us to consider as a state and as a county is a green fee for tourism. With over 9 million tourists visiting the state last year, if we were to charge $10 or $20 per visitor, that's either 90 or 180 million dollars in revenue that doesn't come out of the pockets of our local families and our local workers. So although we haven't necessarily gone down that path and flushed it all out, I think that is a really great opportunity to create revenue. But just as important on how to increase revenue is figuring out at the county level what we're going to do to check out our budget and find ways to make cuts across the board. As a county council, as a mayor's administration, I think it's no one person's job, but it's a collective kuleana for us to figure out how we can make cuts, and especially in the mayor's administration, whoever that may be, finding ways within each department to make those cuts so that we can have a leaner and greener operating budget, and therefore would not necessarily need to be creating as much new income and increased taxes.
Okay, thank you. And we have one more question. It's about infrastructure improvement. And there was a sewage spill in Kailua Bay recently, and it closed the bay. And we need infrastructure improvements for wastewater systems, both in the residential and the commercial real estate sector. Assessing the individual homeowner for the cost is one option. What will you do in the next 2 years to move the county forward in upgrading the county's wastewater systems?
I know the wastewater system is a big issue, and from what I last read, it's currently on hold pending a similar case on Maui. But I think our county public works and our mayor's administration, in conjunction with our county council, really needs to take a look at our CDPs, depending on the location, and figuring out how development has already occurred, figuring out where it's projected to go, and addressing, prioritizing areas that are in high need for improvements and getting to those projects first. But for me, it's working with leaders in those sectors within the county to address those concerns and those issues with regards to infrastructure, not only for our wastewater systems, but across all of our infrastructure public works as well.
We really appreciate you joining us to share your ideas, and we have time for some final words and a summary statement.
Oh, great. Okay, so mahalo again to you folks for hosting this digital forum, and to the voters out there, I humbly ask for your support this year. When elected, I will be your voice. And like I said, I not only want to be proactive to the issues that are here on the West Side, but I want to be responsive to your needs. So if you already have suggestions or questions, recommendations for our community, please reach out and email me at holeka@voteinaba.com. I'd love to hear from you and talk stories. So mahalo again for this opportunity to share.
Mahalo, candidate Inaba and interviewer Marissa Ashley, for your willingness to participate in our program. We wish you the best on Election Day. And to our audience, mahalo for tuning in. Don't forget that the primary election ballots will be delivered by July 21st. I just got mine yesterday. And that those are for the August 8th primary. The general election is on November 3rd. And mahalo for watching. Please vote.